this is how Phoenix Fire Pit has created such a magical product. Watch and learn.
First, we start by water jetting all of our metal sheets. This includes our legs, our tops, our ashtrays, and our chevrons that are welded onto the legs. After that, we take them out individually and dry them off so they don't get rusted from the water jet water. Next, we take a 1/2-inch steel pipe and run it through our horizontal bandsaw. That this will be later used for on the CNC lathe to create our hinges for our tops and our bottoms. Once we have enough cut, we head over to back inside and put them in a bucket for our CNC operator to use. Here, we insert the pole in, tighten it with the chuck key, and cut it at about 2.5 inches for our hinges, using the special CNC code that we created. As we take them out of the CNC lathe, we bundle them in packs of 4 so that our welders can access them easily for each operation. Next, once all of our parts have been water jetted, we head over to the grinding wheel to grind out our legs, our tops, and our chevrons so that they're smooth enough to be welded in our next couple steps. As things continue to be grinded, our welders inside use our different fixtures to set up the hinges on the legs and the tops. In doing so, we make sure that everything is set up straight and that each side matches up so that it can fold properly. Once everything is set up on the hinges, we weld on opposite sides so that they can fold without interference. Simultaneously, as legs are being welded onto the hinges, we set up our chevrons and our legs fixture, in which the chevron goes below and the legs go on top, and we create 2 welds so that they are seamless from the front. As a quick quality assurance, we make sure that our stickers line up from the jig below so that everything folds properly and doesn't have any interference. While welding is being done inside, some of our team members are working on cutting rods for our removable pin, our pins in the legs, and our handles. In doing this, we've created a fixture on the chop saw where it lines up to the exact length, which is 8 inches for the handles and 11 inches for all of the pins. As more pins are being cut, an operator inside grinds down the edges of the pins so that they're smooth enough to be welded and be used for the handles. while at the same time outside we use the fixture that we created to bend the rods at a 90-degree angle as well as the handles at a 90-degree angle so that they can be easily removed and welded on properly. Heading back into the welding booth, once all of the legs have been assembled with the chevrons and the hinges, our TIG welders insert pins into each of the hinges and make sure that it folds properly. Once the pin is fully in, our welders go to work on making sure that it folds again properly, and then use the TIG machine to create a nice smooth weld at the top of the hinge. After all the pins have been inserted into the legs, we TIG the tops of the legs and the chevron so that nothing is separated. As we head back outside, two of our operators work to cut angle iron at different lengths, which include 10.5 inches, 10.75 inches, and 20.5 inches, which are all used for our barbecue. Once all of the angle iron has been cut, we create a 45-degree angle on the ironwork with a square and cut both sides of the 10.5 and the 20.5 inch angle iron, which is used for our barbecue. And once the angle iron has been cut to the proper length, we head over to the drill press to cut holes at the correct distance for the handle to fit in properly. Once all of the holes have been drilled, we head back into the welding station where one of our operators puts the handles into the holes and then does a slight tack weld on the inside to make sure that they're sturdy. At the same time that welding is going on the barbecues, one of our operators is cutting the expanded sheet metal into the proper lengths to be fitted for the barbecue. In doing so, we set up a jig to make sure that everything gets cut at the right lengths. After everything is cut to the right lengths, an operator takes the angle irons at the 20.5 and the 10.5 lengths. The 10.5 lengths are the ones that get the handles welded to them, and then puts the sheet metal inside and does small tack weld all across the bottom to make sure that it stays in place. Once the barbecue has been welded together, another operator takes the 10.75 length angle iron and welds it to the bottom of the barbecue, which is used for our sliding feature. Once the barbecue has been fully assembled, another operator takes the barbecues and grinds them down so that they can be used for TIG welding and painting in the end. After the barbecues have been grinded down, another operator uses our TIG machine to put the barbecue in place and then weld the corners and the tops together to create a smooth finish. The last step of the barbecue is to put the wire coils on the handles, which stop the heat from getting to the handle. In doing so, we screw them on and then TIG weld them at the bottom. Before we can weld the tops together, we head over to the hydraulic press and break the tops at a 90-degree angle. After the tops have been bent, we head back into the welding booth and put 2 tops in at a time, and then put hinges in between, which creates the folding mechanism on the top. As with the legs, we make sure everything is straight and then weld on opposite sides of the hinges to ensure that everything folds properly. Once the top has been completely welded, we use the same process as the base and TIG weld a pin into the top of each hinge. For the sliding rack, which the barbecue can rest on, we take steel pipes and run them through the horizontal bandsaw. Once the steel pipe's been cut to the correct length, we head back inside where an operator welds a steel cap onto the top of the steel pipe, and then uses scrap angle iron to create a resting system that also functions as the pull-out system for the steel pipe. Once the ashtrays have been water jetted, we take them to the grinding wheel and create a smooth finish on all sides. Next, we head over to the press brake and measure about 1 inch to ensure that everything fits properly in the top of the fire pit. Once each side has been bent, we head over to our fire pit to test for quality assurance. Before we paint, we sand down the tops, the bases, and the barbecues, and then wipe them down with acetone so that the paints stick. For the bases, we paint the inside and then allow it to dry before we paint the outside to ensure a smooth coat on both sides. We then paint the inside and the outside of the top, as well as the barbecues, pins, and ashtrays. Once everything has been painted, we move them over and allow them to dry in the sun before we move them inside permanently to dry. And now you know how the Phoenix Fire Pit is made. We hope you enjoy yours, and we cannot wait to get it to you soon.